Barron's working the crease. Forced. Low to high rip. Veracruz dodging from X. Bowling over the defender to the crease for the goal. Zingaro, 15 yards and a clean look at it. Just run the other way. Zingaro over midfield. Zingaro firing a shot and scores!
I think Big Mike took Mamaroneck by surprise there. Or was he just setting him up?
Oh, he was setting him up. You could see as he was trotting to the 40. Oh, yes, guys, come in, watch the help. Where's the relief? Yes, here I go.
What a day for him. 15 saves, a goal. It's like in baseball when a pitcher hits a home run and pitches, a three-hitter, walks two guys, gets the complete game. What do you think means more to him? Obviously, the win is the biggest thing, but if you said, hey, you could have only had 3 saves and scored a goal, it's got to be the goal,
in the
right?
moment, the win is what's most important.
Right.
Because he hadn't won that yet.
Right.
He's got a family history at Lakeland Panis, obviously. But I think as time goes on, when you're, on the front porch, when you're in your college dorm and you go, oh, we won the section title. I had a good day between the pipes, and I scored.
Yeah.
Well, you scored.
Yeah,
you're the goalie.
Yeah. I think Manhattan's getting a steal with this cat.
Hey, listen.
He's got some charisma.
We say it all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, these schools that find these guys who maybe slip under the radar a little bit, and he certainly fits into that category.
A year ago, they were a sub-500 team, and they had 25 juniors on that team last year. And if everybody's back, that means they have 25 seniors on this team. They remembered getting knocked out in overtime in the semifinals to the 2-time defending champs, Mamaroneck. So Mamaroneck felt a little slighted that they were the 2-time defending champs.
Yes.
They were the 2 seed.
Hey.
Lakeland Panis, the 1 seed, and there is a new champ. And this Lakeland Panis team is playing good lacrosse right now.
Lakeland Panis' message was, that was then and this is now. And watch Sofranu. Look at Andrew here on the pole. Look at the move. Boom, right there. Creates a little space and goes down with the bounce shot, ties the game at 1. It just gives the team a lift when the pole scores. Then Sean Murphy turns and burns. It was 2-1 Lakeland Panis. And then the aforementioned Mike Zingaro. Watch Mike. First he makes the save, and this is how it goes. All right, nobody's there. You know what? I'm on the clock here. Let me get going. Okay, I'm going to take it upfield. You know what? Nobody's really looking at me. Let me give a couple fake commands. I'm thinking about it. Why not? Here I come, baby. Keeper on keeper, and look at the Zin Master. He's gonna win that one. The keeper scores. It was 4-1 Lakeland Panis. And then James Flaherty. Well, you could tell, Mike, there was some years of frustration built up because Panis, they just wanted it. It was 5-2, and then Sean Murphy. Good stick work here. Drop your angle, turn, spin back. Look at the angle. Oh, my goodness. That is beautiful. And then Prunty, face of the franchise. He's been through the battles and come up short. Not on this day. Top shelf. It was 7-2. And Lakeland Panis rings the bell. They are your Section 1 Class A champions. And the Zin Master, 15-1.
I said it before. I started believing in this team a little bit after they took Greenwich to a 1-goal game.
You're right.
And it's like, wait a minute, hold on. Wrote them off. We've talked about it. They lost to Putnam Valley, wrote it off, the whole thing. And you know me, losses, I get into losses, and 9-8. And then I think the next day or two, they lose the Murphy Cup by 2 goals to Yorktown. And since then, they have played real good lacrosse. You want to hear from Mr. Big Shot?
Great. It's been a life goal since I've been little. I saw my brother win it in 2010, and just after seeing that and then losing the year after, it's always been in the back of my mind. So getting it done is a great thing.
Lakeland Panis is a traditional power and established program. What is it like getting the Rebels back into the winner's circle?
It's great to get it back. We've been talking about it, and talk has done nothing for us, so we came out and proved it. So it's been great.
Now, and listen, survive and advance. Now they advance, and now you go to try and make some really big headlines.
They'll have no trouble tomorrow.
Mr. Lax has spoken, even though Warwick has only lost 1 game.
If I'm not mistaken, Warwick's 1 loss may have been, was it the Putnam Valley? I'm not sure. But this is just Look, Section 9 is starting to develop more lacrosse. It doesn't have the history and the pageantry of Section 1. So we go from one goalie who was terrific. You know about this cat, Wes Cutler.
I love the name.
What?
I mean, I just love the name. I love a guy named Wes Cutler.
Really?
Yeah, I think Wes is nice. Like a Hollywood name, it's like a sports name. You know what I mean? It's got a little character built in.
Byram Hill surprised everybody.
Oh yeah, I know.
When they beat Somers.
Surprised everybody?
Yeah, except themselves.
We had a lot of fun going with Louis Janove and Somers.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, this guy Cutler, sophomore goalie.
For the Bobcats.
Yeah, if he wasn't playing in this game,
Right.
This thing would have hit running time at the end of the first quarter. He was flat out spectacular. 22 saves. 22.
These are the games, and for Wes as a sophomore, these are the games that are part of your growth against a team like this, taking all those shots on you.
What's a lot of titles?
For most schools, you know, like when you get close to, you know, double digits, like, oh, we've won 8 titles on the history. If we can make it 9, maybe even 10.
37.
That's ridiculous.
But here's the thing, and listen, we say a lot of nice things about Yorktown. We've been accused by coaches in Section 1 of going on and on about Yorktown. This is the reality. Those 37 sectional titles, it's getting old. Okay? Now you got to go ring the big boy bell. You got to go win the state title, which they haven't done in 11 years.
Moore's first year.
Is that fair to say that these sectional titles, they're nice.
It is.
And when you go into the gym, there's a whole bunch of banners. But the right banners have not been there.
But you know what? This is one of those programs that is always measured by their history.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't know whether you want to say they were ahead of the curve, Mike, 50 years ago when they started ringing up all these titles. You know, 37 in their history. They've had some, you know, wonderful players. I mean, you know, the Nelson brothers and the Carcaterras and, you know, Dave Marr and Colsey. And they've had some great players come through in recent years. But the problem is that, you know, once you get outside of the section, there's some real firepower in the Empire State, you know, but it's like they're so decorated in those past years.
If I'm Yorktown, I would not be worrying about Garden City. And Fusco had a good comment. You'll hear it later. Don't be consumed that Garden City, the 2-time defending champs in the B division, they're out, man. This is more about you, your team, not who's coming at you, your team. We know they can win. We know. Listen, all you do is you take that Chaminade game as a barometer. They held Chaminade to 3 goals, and right after, it's so funny. You and I both said the same thing.
I wanted to. We are doing the Chaminade St. Anthony's Catholic Championship game on Thursday night at Hofstra, and Jack Moran, with that win of the Catholic Championship, wins his 500th win of his career, 500.
Yeah.
And as I'm doing the live interview with him, I'm thinking to myself, can I have a little fun with him and say, hey, Jack, 500th win, you're Catholic champs. How the heck did Yorktown hold you to 3 goals? But I never said it. I was thinking it, but I never said it.
You didn't. And then afterwards, when I went down, hey, Jack, congratulations. The next thing, how'd you lose to Yorktown? Only give up 3 goals.
But again, it tells you something.
They have it. And what we're seeing right now, and Yorktown, listen, Mars schedules all these big boys.
Yeah, super
And
Saturdays.
what happens when they play those big boy games, a lot of times you see their scoring come down. Have you noticed what's happened in the postseason? Scoring's going back up, just under 14 goals per game. Here's how they're moving on. Give Byram Hills credit to get to the championship, but this is where Yorktown butters their bread. How is Veracruz allowed to do that?
He's an All-American. They get those privileges.
It's like, just get out of my way. So Connor gets the first one, then Christopher Alvarado, he makes it 3-0 for the Huskers. And then here, Palmadesso
Lucas
to Veracruz to Nick Del Beni.
Oh, it was a big day for Nick Del Beni. You know, he had 3 goals in the game.
It's 5-0 now when your boy, the Villanova bounder, Palmadesso.
And these are the guys, Mike. These are the faces of the franchise. They would build up a 9-0 lead at the half of this game. They were moving and grooving.
Is this the last Bonatanabas?
Oh, it is.
You love that name, right?
Nicky B heading off to Cortland. And that's what they need out of Nicky B. Get aggressive. And great post-game celebration there for Yorktown as they win number 37. 37. No truth to the rumor that FDR presented the plaque on the first one.
It's crazy. That is an astounding number. It's crazy. But the biggest number there, it's simple. is 03, their last state title. So there's always 4 goals, as Fusco will tell us.
You know what? We always say we got 4 goals. Win the section title, go undefeated in the section, win the Murph Cup. We took care of 3 things so far. Last one's still on our list. We're really focused, but we got to take it one game at a time. And it was a big test today. Guys couldn't look forward. And, you know what? We just got to keep it rolling. We got to keep it taking it one game at a time.
Your dad's a former Husker. Your older brother played for the program. I imagine the text messages and the calls have been sent out throughout Husker Nation. What is it like to win a section title in this jersey?
You know, there's no real words to express my feelings for this program. They've given me so much. My coaches, the teammates, everyone just takes it so much more seriously. Coming from a different town to here, my dad grew up here, like you said, but there's nothing that I'd rather be doing than playing for the green and white right here in Yorktown.
You know what? Good for Austin Fusco. He mentioned his brother, Fearless Frankie Fusco. His dad was a Husker, and you know, I mentioned some of those great names in Yorktown history. Austin Fusco enters that Ring of Honor, and I'll tell you why. Sure, at the end of the day, he said what this program has given me. He's going to Syracuse. Right. Is there any greater honor for a lacrosse player? Remember one thing, Mike.
Maybe Duke.
They want... Pat McCabe's on the phone. He'd like to talk to you. They win 4. They've now won the 4 straight section titles. Austin Fusco started all 4 of the section championship games in his 4-year varsity career. There's nothing more you can do as a player at Yorktown than to become a freshman starter and start in all 4 section championship teams. Wonderful.
Didn't his brother Frank have those wonderful golden cleats? Right?
Yes.
He did, right?
I think so.
So obviously he was more into colorful downstairs in the footwear.
Yeah.
Did you see Austin in that interview?
Yeah.
And then did you see, this is the ugliest team picture I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Look at this. Come on, Bri. There you go.
Oh my.
I mean, what are they doing?
It's
I love the guy in the back.
Carrot Top, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of Three Stooges right there.
There's Fusco in the front.
Little Larry there. Is Larry the one with the curly hair and the Three Stooges? Yes. And you gotta love it. I mean, just the personality. This is the glory days right there for Yorktown. Taking that championship photo. Gotta love the photo there by our own Sabrina Nicosia. Very wonderful clarity in that photo.
It's very nice. Brian did a good job. Butler did a nice job doing some
good for them,
stuff.
You know, good for them.
Jim, I didn't see Dave Marr in that picture. Did he do that too?
No.
He wears a hat, right?
He does. And
those
you know
golden locks he has on the side. He has hair like me.
Marr is an understated guy. You know, like, it doesn't surprise me.
Whoa. He's understated? Ask an official.
When the games are over. When the games are over. You know what I mean? It's like, you know. And, you know, listen, he's a very interesting guy. I really like dealing with Dave Marr when we do the games.
He's great.
He's very into telling me about his kids. It's like, you know, he has the legacy as a player. He has the legacy now as a coach. And I know he wants to ring that bell. And I don't know if you noticed, Fusco didn't, when he mentioned the 4 goals, he didn't mention the 4th goal as a state championship. We all know what it is, but it's almost like in baseball when a pitcher has a no-hitter going.
Right.
You don't go near him. You don't say state championship. They have a long way to go.
Right.
Okay, they have a long way to go. They got to get through the Section 9 winner.
Not tomorrow.
Here goes Mr. Lax. The guy was hot, and he continues to stay hot. So no problem with Cornwall. They're the Section 9 winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then they got to get through the regional final versus the Section 2 winner. A little Marr synergy there because that'll be at Albany where Dave Marr's brother Scotty Marr coaches.
Yeah.
And oh boy, I mean, it had to be tough watching Notre Dame giving Duke everything they could handle after Albany really had Notre Dame out of that NCAA. But and then they try and get to the New York State semis on Long Island June 4th, where they'll play the Long Island champion. Which will not be Garden City, as you mentioned. So it's like, you know, maybe some of that new blood coming out of Long Island that, you know, it'll be good for Yorktown.
You think it's going to be Lynbrook?
The Owls, listen, that's the one thing. If you were, you know, if you're a Yorktown lifer for lacrosse and you're sort of watching MSG Varsity, let me watch Garden City. So this way I can tell Dave Marr what I think. And all of a sudden, Garden City's eliminated. Yeah. You got to be kidding me.
Jim, I thought for sure that Bronxville would roll Pleasantville. They did last year in the championship, 15-9. Give Pleasantville, their coaches, their kids, all the credit in the world.
Amazing.
This thing was in the right to the end. This game could have gone to Pleasantville, which would have shocked me, because right now Bronxville has everybody back. They're healthy for the first time, and when this team is all together and playing, this is the best team ever. Don't look at the 6 losses. Just look at the people they put on the field. This is their best team ever. And Pleasantville almost dashed that dream.
Pleasantville, I love their approach in the game, because sometimes you come out, hey, let's get settled possessions, let's look for the open man. No. Pleasantville came out punching. They came out swinging. They came out going to the cage. They came out aggressive, and they scored some goals. And they turned this game, into an occurrence, a happening all of a sudden.
Boy, they're lucky Matty Barons is back, huh? Been hurt.
Great story.
Got back.
Listen, came back from the ground up, and we always acknowledge the kids who have, big injuries and have to go through the rehab, all those moments on that rehab table, all those moments where that guy is trying to get that range of motion and he's hurting you, and you're saying to yourself, how am I ever going to accelerate on this knee again? He did. Came all the way back.
I told you the night I watched him against Greenwich, and Grass didn't play, so I was kind of more into the defense that night. This guy, Andrew Harwood, the goalie, he's terrific. Their defense, if they go on to win their next 4 games, I think you would need now, to win a state title, they're going to win it because their defense, but their offense is pretty good. They've now won it 4 consecutive years. 1-0 Pleasantville, when here he is, Matty Barons. Boom. It's 1-1. And then Ted Forst going to give Bronxville that 2-1 lead. Works from behind the cage, goes downstairs. That's a tough one to stop, partner.
Yeah, but then the second quarter comes, and here comes Pleasantville.
Great ball movement here. Greg Drillick.
Step into it.
He's had a great year for Pleasantville. Very, very good year. And now Baylor Rosenbaum. Going to give Peeville a 3-2 lead. I saw this on Twitter. I'm like, oh my golly, what has happened?
Great pass there, too.
Third quarter, it's now 4-3 Pleasantville, but Will Duncan gets the goal and ties it up at 4, and that would be, I don't want to say the beginning of the end, because Pleasantville definitely hung around. Barons again. That's crafty.
What do they say? Head on a swivel, eyes in the back of his head, seeing his teammates.
Check out Forrest here. This thing's a burner.
Look at the waggle on that stick, man. That's just years of working that cradle since he was a little boy.
Guess who's back? No more concussion. Henry Grass, the junior, going to Hopkins. There you go.
I mean, just textbook little inside roll right there. Gets the defender stepping out, tucks it back inside. That's practice.
So you thought it was over at 7-4, but now it's an 8-7 game. Bronxville, Willie Duncan seals the deal.
You saw Pleasantville trying to double out on the ball. You get caught shorthanded, but give them credit. They took it to the limit with Barons in Bronxville.
You know, it's funny. I looked at that team picture. I didn't see any crazy hair. Barons, he was talking about how fortunate he is to be back with the leg injury. No one thought he was going to get back. He really at times didn't think he was going to get back, and he was talking about that after.
We got a lot of things to work on. This was not our best game. We got to work on some things on defense, work on being more patient on offensive end, and we just got to get back to it. We got a couple days off before our next game, and we just got to work on some things.
It's a story of perseverance on a personal level. To come back from the surgeries and the rehab to make it here and be such a big part of the section championship game, how does it feel?
You know, it was obviously a tough off-season for me, both emotionally and physically, and so to come back here with this group, you know, I could have waited a little bit longer, but I knew this group was going to be the one to take it home this year, and I'm so proud of my guys. You know, they jumped off early on us, and we were really tight coming out, and then we really relaxed and got our open looks, and we finished it out.
Well, Matty would love to play 4 more games before he heads down to Georgetown. That's where he's going to go. It's pretty cool. Never thought he'd be back. Got back. Resnick does a great job with these interviews too. I really
takes you inside the team.
Yes, he does. Resnick, he's not one of those guys. Okay, you took a pass from a pass and that set up the 4-3. He tells a story. He solicits a story with his. Resnick does a very good job. Good young broadcaster.
And you saw Barons too. A little State of the Union to start out there. You know, we need to get better. This was not our best effort. That was a tip of the cap to Pleasantville and what they stood for. But Bronxville was they were being real. He was being real in that moment, saying, if we play like this, we're not going to get to where we need to get to, and that's a reappearance in the state final.
Well, they'll get to Saturday because they'll roll tomorrow against Roundout. Yeah, don't look at the records.
No, we never do look at the records because Bronxville, if you look at their 6 losses, well, look at who they're against. Bronxville is a decorated team. They've been through the battles. They have a history now after what went on last year. And hopefully that inspires them.
Were you into this New York Catholic AA championship?
I was, because I ever since Iona Prep took Chaminade to the brink and lost 14-13. And listen, I know we give Chaminade a lot of credit, and deservedly so. And I thought Rick Trezano's club sort of announced, that they're always relevant in most years, but I think they announced on that day that they're going to be a tough out in this Catholic AA.
He told his guys before the game, we're going to have to play every second of this game. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a battle. They played more than every second of regulation. This game went to 3 overtimes?
3? Was it 3? Wow. Yeah. It's amazing. And they had beaten them earlier in the year.
They did,
okay?
Which is not a good thing.
Right. And they had beaten them pretty handily.
They beat them twice last year, Jim,
right.
in the regular season.
But there's one thing about Fordham Prep. On a whole, their athletic programs, they always got heart. You know what I mean? They have a history of competing. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the one thing when you get into these games against schools that are used to competing. Forget about what happened the first time. It's a whole new ball game, and we learned that in this AA championship.
Well, in the championship game last year, and this is why Iona Prep has waited 365 days, the Gales beat the Rams in the regular season twice last year. They lost the one that mattered most, the championship. Now they win in the They only played once this year in the regular season, so now they have that in their head. Go to this game, and all of a sudden, Fordham Prep, as you said,
last year
showed up.
Last year, the third time was not the charm. This year would the second time be. Look at this here. Brandon Standard fighting his way through, but Jordan Shapiro right on it. Then Kevin Soar finds Connor Smith. Connor Smith, oh man, he was great in this game.
This guy's got some swagger, this guy, Connor Smith.
No goals in the second quarter, so we go to the third. Jack Corzelius dodges the defender, lets it rip. The Dartmouth-bound Corzelius makes it 2-1. Now Fordham Prep on the break. Luke Schmiel, little hesitation, gets all squared up, tied at 2. Third quarter, Connor Smith. What's not to love about Connor Smith, Mike?
Look at this guy.
Yes, sir. Fordham Prep leads 3-2 in the fourth quarter. Then Matty O'Donnell and Iona Prep. Look at O'Donnell. Finds Corzelius for the rocket. The game is tied at 3 with 7 minutes left. Enter Johnny Budareya, the 3-year starter, heading off to Stevens Tech. Quick step, gives the Gales the lead again, 4-3 with 4.5 left. Then shortly after it, Budareya again spins off. Downtown he goes. It's a 2-goal lead with 3 left. Game over, right? No. It's 5-4. Kevin Soar finds Connor Smith. Bust him M. Smitty. Look at Connor. He wanted it. He buries it. Tied at 5. The overtime goes by. Number 1, number 2, nothing. Then Corzelius. Jackson. Corzelius ends it, and the Gales are moving on. Good pass for Maura Feiss. Iona Prep and Jack Corzelius. What a moment for him. And you feel good for Corzelius, Mike. I call a guy like him the face of the franchise. He's a 3-year starter. He's their leading scorer. He's the guy everybody tries to shut off in the big spot. He's the guy with a 98-mile-per-hour shot. And for Corzelius to end it, there's some special linkage there for what the team is this year, what they stand for, and what he has meant in his career.
And now, this is a bad job by me. Does Stevens Tech have it's a Division III school?
Yes.
Do they have a lacrosse program?
Yeah.
Then Johnny Boots is a flat-out steal for them.
Yeah, Budareya, and we mentioned that it's amazing. Those two guys, Budareya and Corzelius, and I mentioned that 14-13 loss to Chaminade. It was in that game they had 7 points each. of course, Zealy's and Booterand. They accounted for all 14. So those are their guys, man. And when push came to shove, they're the guys that got it done. So congratulations to Rick Trezano. In his 9th year at Iona Prep, he now moves on to try and collect a little more hardware.
You can do that this afternoon, too.
This is it against Kellenberg.
This is the overall Catholic AA championship. Kellenberg beat Holy Trinity, Iona Prep, and they've all played pretty much the same team.
Yes.
So that'll be a good game. I do not know this year because it's impossible to figure out that if there's going to be an overall AA state championship. I don't know.
Well, it's something to chat about.
Yeah.
Do you like to chat?
What?
Do you like to chat?
I do. Good job by you.
Trying here. I'm trying.
That's good. So we're going to talk lacrosse.
As we should.
So
Monty.
the other guys.
Who's your favorite Monty?
What?
Listen, all due respect to Mike Monty, my favorite Monty was, of course, Rodney Dangerfield and Easy Money. Monty.
Yeah.
Russ likes Monty Hall. Let's make a deal.
What about Monty Python?
I mean, come on. I got to go Monty Hall over Monty Python. My mom always wanted to be on Let's Make a Deal.
Really?
Never got there.
She would have been great.
I know. You go there. I mean, you kids are way too young to remember that show, but Let's Make a Deal where they,
Wait,
pick
isn't
you out.
that still on TV? Is it?
No.
What's his name?
No.
What's that show?
Mon-
What's the when you spin the wheel? What is that show?
That's what, Wheel of Fortune?
No. What's the? Let's Make a Deal still on TV.
Let's Make a Deal still-
What's his? Drew Carey hosts it.
No, No. Drew Carey hosts The Price is Right.
The Price is Right.
Come on.
Oh man, I gotta go.
Let's Make a Deal was the old show in the 70s where he'd pick up a woman out of the audience and go, "Do you have an egg in your pocketbook?" And they would go, "Yes, I do." You bring all sorts of miscellaneous
Your
items.
mom wanted to be on that show.
We always wanted to be on Let's Make a Deal. And then,
Well, how about let's make a pick?
sure,
Pick a game.
pick a game.
Does Yorktown win their next 4 games?
I tell you, I hope so. And as I told you last week, if their movie stars walk the red carpet, they can win it. They have to realize right now, with a guy like Fusco at the back and all that scoring power up front, they can win it. They have the chops. They got the guys. They can do it. We've seen them play at a really high level this year. Yes, the Huskers can win it.
Lakeland Panis, Yorktown, Bronxville. Which of those 3 has the best chance to win a state title?
The best chance is Bronxville.
Really?
I think so. They were there last year. They had a 3-goal lead in the state final. They brought back a lot of firepower. But, like I said, Veracruz and the boys, that's sort of a pick with my heart. Veracruz now, top 5 all-time goals at Yorktown High School. It will be a nice, like I said, you like to see programs that put so much into it, where it's such a part of the fabric of the community. And I don't know if there's another community in the Tri-State where lacrosse is as much part of the fabric as it is at Yorktown. I want to see them hang another banner.
So you have no belief in Lakeland Panis then?
Now, why are you trying to get the people of Lakeland Panis?
I'm just asking questions.
I think Lakeland Panis has really, achieved to a point. Now, listen, are they playing with a little house money right now? I think so.
You do?
I do.
See, now you could have come back and said, well, with Niski going up to A, I just think that...
Well, I was leaving that for you, Mr. Lax.
Really?
Okay, leaving that for you.
I love Lakeland Panis.
Yeah, well, listen.